It's a little different for me because I'm comparing being in Jamaica to Canada. Now, in Jamaica, for sure, the men will approach. Here, on the other hand, I don't think one guy has ever approached me in person the whole time I've been here. But
Would you trust someone you met online or someone in real life? Or is dating in 2026 just a confusing maze? Honestly, do we even know how to date? Today, we're talking about love and how it's evolving in person, online, and through social media. You ready to dig in? Okay.
yeah.
Welcome to the Lusanjis Speak. I'm your host, Derek, and right beside me is my wife, Kareen. Now, a bit of a backstory is we met 3 years ago on Bumble, but that was then. That's what got us here. Things have changed over time. We're talking now in 2026 how social media, all platforms of apps are forming and shaping love and relationships. Now, my first question is for my lovely wife. How do you think love was back then? Do you still think that people still approach people in real life like they used to back in the day?
I mean, I feel like people always try to approach people in person, but I feel like it has shifted in a way where it's not that easy anymore. It's a little different for me because I'm comparing being in Jamaica to Canada. Now, in Jamaica, for sure, the men will approach. Here, on the other hand, I don't think one guy has ever approached me in person the whole time I've been here. But I feel like here it's more so online than in person. And I feel like even as simple as the weather has a lot to do with it because you are just, if you're walking on the street, you're hurrying because it's so cold, you ain't got no time to stop. You're
Yeah.
covered up in so many layers from head to toe, basically, so you can't really see the true person. So for me, I would say it is a little different in terms of how I grew up back in Jamaica, where no matter what you have on, what you look like, men will approach you. But
Okay.
today, I feel like mostly it's online, especially in Canada.
Okay. And do you think now, with all that we got going on, social media platforms, all the apps for dating, do you think it was more genuine back then when men would approach a woman and say, "Hey, can I have your number?" Then now do you think it seems superficial kind of?
I feel like back then it was a bit more genuine. Simply because now with social media you have pictures online and you have an image that most people are trying to keep up. And I feel like it was more intentional back then where people genuinely wanted something. Now it's to even for show. People go into relationship just for show to be on the media just to say they're in a relationship, they're cuffed or they're locked in or whatever
Yeah,
they want to
yeah,
call it. But yeah, I feel like back then people were more intentional and wanting genuine relationships as opposed to today. I'm not saying that people aren't
yeah.
genuine today, but back then you would find more genuine relationships forming as opposed to now where people are really trying to stunt on the media or but you still may find genuine relationships out there.
Yeah, I agree with that. So when we're talking online dating, we met 3 years ago, right? And I would say honestly that, in the span of 3 years, now 2026, things have changed, right? And, there's always something coming up every year. It can't be the same. So what would you say would be like the advantages of online dating?
Online dating.
Yeah, like, like all the social media stuff, Bumble, all the dating apps.
For one, I would say an advantage would definitely be it puts you out of your comfort zone or your usual type or your box that you would lock yourself in, or even just exposes you to a greater audience. Because for me personally, I never imagined I would marry a Kenyan person. I don't think that would be the reality if we had met, if it wasn't for online.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a huge advantage for online dating because you get to meet people within your spectrum, outside of your spectrum, even in your proximity or further away.
Yeah.
Many long distance relationships start from online dating. So yeah, I would say that is uh, the biggest advantage of online dating. What about you? What do you think?
Well, for me, honestly, I think is the idea that I don't feel pressured. They don't get to really, see me as as I'm warming up. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
warm up, a preparation to get to know somebody before I see them, so that I can be comfortable. So I guess
Mm-hmm.
it's like a good warm up phase to get to know somebody, if that makes sense.
And what I would like to add to that is that for me, I'm the type of person who likes to get to know someone like just by talking to them, texting more before I even meet you in person. So I like that aspect of it where you can get to feel somebody out just by the way
Yeah.
how they have conversations, how they talk, how they text, if they're a good texter, if they're a bad texter. And then it can just save you some time to know if this is somebody worth meeting in person or even going on a date.
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, I would say that that's another advantage.
Okay. So, for every good there's always a bad, right? So we gotta talk about a little bit of the bad, the disadvantages of these online dating apps and stuff. So
Yeah.
if you were to come up with one or two things, whatever you want to share,
Mm-hmm.
what what are some disadvantages that you kind of dislike about dating apps, like all these platforms that we have?
Um, One for sure, you would say catfishing because you never know who is really behind the
Yeah.
profiles. Who it could be a 65-year-old creep just trying to get with younger people. And for me, also, I would say the fear of actually meeting up in person and just hoping that this is the person that you have been talking to
Yeah.
online, because you don't know this person really, you can't really trust them, and you want to make sure you're meeting up in a public place and stuff like that. So I would definitely say the fear of being catfished
Yeah.
and just your safety, because you're meeting this stranger that you've been talking to online for however long, for the first time in person. You don't really want to do too much of a private location.
Yeah.
um yeah, those are the things that I would say would be the biggest. Another
Biggest.
thing that I would say too, some people tend to use very old photos of themselves. Like they would be 30 years old and be using a 20-year-old photo.
They
Ain't
gotta
no
look good.
way.
They
No,
gotta
but
look.
then that's
They
not the
got,
true representation of yourself, because that's not how you look today. You've gained 20 pounds
yeah.
or you've lost 20 pounds. You it's just not a true representation of yourself. Also, guys, don't use group photos for your photo on online apps.
True.
Like, why would you have a photo with 5 people? Like, how do I know who is the person I'm talking to? So yeah, that's a pro tip.
Okay. So, like for me, I mean, if I were to say some disadvantages of it, would be there's a lot of stuff that happens on social media. We got all these incidents, all these, I guess, crimes, I would say. Um, you basically don't know who you're talking to until you meet the person, right? And it's more of like a safety thing. And I'm gonna shine some light on how we met first time in person. So basically, there was a time after chatting for a bit, we made plans to meet up in person. And obviously, we're not really sure of who we are. And she couldn't give me her address because she didn't trust me. She didn't want to risk her safety net. Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't know who you are. He was coming to pick me up. I didn't know who you were. I didn't know
Yeah.
if I wanted to give him another address. We meet somewhere, or whatever the case may be. So that's like another disadvantage of it too. But I mean, I would say it's always better to meet the person at the place that you're going out to, because then that would be a safer option.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. So, not that you're single, okay? You're taken, but let's try to think that you're single right now in 2026. Would you try the dating apps still?
I would, especially being in Canada has forced me to join, because I lived the better part of my years in Jamaica and I was never on a dating app.
Yeah.
In Canada, like I said, it's not that easy to meet people. People are more to themselves. Um, so yeah, I would still try a dating app in 2026. That's where the world is heading in Canada,
So,
anyways.
if we had, yeah, I would agree with that for sure. Everything's online. You know, you can do anything online now. But we're talking about online dating. What if, let's say, a scenario where some guy comes to you in person and asks for your number and shows an interest in you? Does that stand out to you? You're like, oh yeah, I can give you my number, or is that like I'm gonna close off my safety
Mm.
net?
It depends on the circumstances or the place
Yeah,
where we are, the situation. If for example I go to the bank and I am dealing with a teller and the teller is trying to hit on me, that I would turn down, because we're dealing with business. I don't want to discuss what you're doing. But if I'm just in the grocery store, if I'm just on a random day going about my day and I end up talking to this person, and then at the end of it he's like, I really, can I have your number?
yeah,
Honestly, I'm not the type to give out my number, but I'm usually the type to be like, you can add me on Instagram, because it starts somewhere. At least you can DM me there. We can even video chat on Instagram. And if I feel that it is safer, that's when I would maybe exchange numbers. But I still see the possibilities of people approaching people in person
yeah.
and it going somewhere. For me, I've been told that I don't have the best face expression. So it might not be the easiest thing to approach me in person. But if a guy did approach me in person back when I was dating, then yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's more social media that I would get exchange than straight up phone number.
Okay. I'm glad that you brought up the idea of social media and Instagram. So,
Wait, before you even go on, let me ask you something. Would you approach a girl in person today? I mean,
no,
if you were
I
single,
don't think I would.
you wouldn't?
No, I think it's because of how the world is now that somebody might just like think I'm a creep or something. And that's not my intention. And I feel like if I do it, I might forget my words or something and my stutter. And nowadays, I've realized that women, not whoa, I can't speak, but not generalizing pretty much every woman, but they tend to pick on little things so quick. Stuff like that. Like if you just stutter for some 2 seconds, no. Or like they would see you with the off day outfit and be like, I don't like your outfit. I can't give you my number. So stuff like that kind of like makes it a little bit hesitant to do it in person.
So online dating was made for you.
No, actually, yeah, I think so. Hey,
Okay.
it worked. Anyway, um, I'm not flexing. I am though. So you were talking about social media, and
Mhm.
you mentioned about giving somebody, you know, your Instagram to message you. What if it comes to a case where somebody got a hold of your Instagram and slid in your DM as a first impression? Would you give that person a chance?
People have slid in my DMs a lot of times. I mean, that's where even now. With all the marriage content, people are still in my DMs. Get out. But
Yeah.
yes, if someone a guy, it just depends on how they do it. For me, I don't want you to slide in my DM. The very first message you're sending to me, oh my god, I would really, I hope you were my girl, or if I was your man, I would like. If you're just that direct and straight, no, it's gonna be. I wouldn't even reply.
They're trying to be confident.
Well, don't be overly confident because sometimes that's a fail.
Oh,
So I would say if you're, I feel like a lot of conversations happen by just replying to a story. Like I post a story, but the thing is, there's
that's
two
it.
ways about it. I post a story, you reply, I laugh, and then you say, "So how was your day?" No, we weren't having a conversation. If I post a story and you reply and we have a little chuckle, and then
Hmm.
another day, you reply, "Hey, how are you doing?" Then I can follow that, but not when you reply to my story, I like your comment, then you try to start get a conversation. From me, and I find that many girls talk about that too. I post something, you reply, oh ha ha ha. I reply, LOL, I know, right? You reply, so how was your day? That one I'm gonna be like, oh
He was waiting for that opportunity.
yeah. So if at that moment the conversation had ended and then another day you were like, hey, how's it going? Then, so yeah, I wouldn't knock the sliding in someone's DM. Yeah, I'm for it.
Okay. And so, okay. So we have, you have your opinion on sliding in the DM. I think for the guys, if I can speak on, sometimes we use like pickup lines,
Oh,
and some of it was, come on, um, to get an impression of somebody else. But some of the guys do come a little too straightforward, thinking that it's the way to go because of what they see online, and most anyway, and not into detail, but talking about social media again. We have people who like to post stuff, right? And we have people, I guess, who don't like to post stuff. Let's say you with somebody you're talking, you're in a relationship, and you want to post them, want to expose it to the world, right? But they don't post about you. How would you feel about that? Is that a red flag? Oh,
it's an orange flag.
hmm,
For me, if I'm a posty type of person, I'm a posty type of person. That's fine. But I can't force you to be a posty type of person. But so let's say it's my birthday or Valentine's Day, Christmas or whatever, and you
yeah,
don't post at all. It's not that you don't use social media, you use social media. You post statuses, you post yourself, you post reels, whatever. You just never ever post. Like nobody knows if you're in a relationship. I mean, it can be private, but not a secret.
okay.
So if you don't post me on my birthday, at least then that is a
What
red
if I
flag.
just say happy birthday to my girl?
With what, like just a writing, a
Yeah.
text? No.
That's credit.
I mean, it's different if you don't use social media. I get that, but if you're an active user of social media, you post yourself, you post other people, you post things.
Yeah.
I understand if you don't want to put your relationship out there, that's completely fine. But if I'm the type of person that posts, like I just post, I'm not necessarily expecting you to do that, but at least I want you to post me sometimes for my birthday,
Show
on
off.
Christmas, Valentine's Day, whatever, International Women's Day, for God's sake. I don't know. Something. There's always going to be at least one day you can post your partner.
Okay. And I agree with that. I think if any case, if you're not posting about your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, it kind of gives a sign that you're hiding something to
Mm.
not show it to people. You want to keep it private so other people don't see, or your other girl or man doesn't see, kind of like that, like a side business kind of.
Mm-hmm.
That's the energy that it gives if somebody doesn't want to post it. But any, I mean, everybody got their own opinion, but in my perspective, that's how I see it. Now, this kind of leads to the question. I honestly have an answer to this already, but can social media ruin relationship before it even start? Do you think?
If it can ruin the chances of the relationship before it has
Yeah,
started.
you could say that.
Yes, I think so because, for example, if I met somebody in person, not on social media, and I get an impression of you, and I feel like, oh, this guy's a decent guy,
Yeah.
he's very respectful and stuff like that, but then we exchange Instagram, and I go to your Instagram, and all I see is thirst traps. My perspective of you and my impression of you is gonna change.
Yeah.
So in that case, then my whole vibe or whatever liking I was developing for that person would have slowly fade away, because if I go on your Instagram page and I see you have, oh, um underwear photos showing your abs, everything is a selfie in the mirror half naked, then yeah, I would, that's not someone I envision to be my partner. Or
Yeah.
something as simple as just you being in every single thirst trap comment section. If
Mm,
if
yeah.
every thirst trap post I see you are under there, whoo, that baby, that's so hot. That's a no for me. So I do believe, yeah,
I think,
social media can ruin a
yeah,
relationship.
I agree with that, with your point of view. But also, I was thinking about if, let's say, for example, I randomly see your DMs, the people that you're talking to, and it's like way too much information that it that I see, like attention seeking kind, where you need something more than just a greeting. That's gonna change my perspective on the person as well. And
But how would you get in the person's DM? Like, why are you there? The
well,
relationship hasn't even started yet.
yeah, you're right. Maybe I'm already maybe I'm already jumping the gun over here. But anyway, let's not move that point. I was talking about, like, they give me access to their phone,
Mm,
and which is a I guess a different topic.
okay.
So we're gonna move on to a little bit of a game to lighten up this, you know, little segment that we got going on here. And I'm gonna ask you a couple of things. I'm gonna give you some options, and what I want you to do is to not think about it.
Hmm.
Just give the answer right away. Okay? So, you ready for it?
Hmm.
All right. Dating apps ruining relationships or just a tool?
That's a tool.
Okay. Post your partner online? Yes or no?
Yes.
Men should still approach first. Agree or disagree? You're taking too long.
I agree, but not necessarily. But
Okay.
I don't think I could approach, to be honest.
Okay. I'm gonna change it up here. This is more like a personal reflection. Okay. Well, the game is done. Let's say that.
Hmm.
This is for you to think about it. If we met in 2026 right now, currently this year, how do you think we would have met? Do you think we'd still be together?
If we met in 2026,
Yeah.
I still think the possibility of us meeting online would still stand. Because I don't know. The funny thing is, we were at the same place before we even met each other, but he saw me, I didn't see him. It was
Yeah.
my snap memories that made him know that he was there. But I still feel like we would still meet in person. I don't Online, sorry, and not in person. I don't think I don't know. I don't know where we would meet in person or some, unless I just randomly show up at your church or something. But I don't know. I think we would still be together from online dating. Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you think we would survive modern dating? Which honestly, I think we would. I mean, times change, things are different now, but I feel like the relationships we have is real and it's like energetic, vibrant. So that would kind of make it, give me a confident yes, we would actually survive.
I feel
But
like
what do
we
you?
did do modern dating.
Yeah.
I don't think we did the traditional dating where, oh, we met on, or we were classmates, or for me, most of my relationships that I've been in was because we were either classmates.
Yeah.
We were always in the same environment. For us, I feel like we did do modern dating in the sense of we did it the online way. We met them in person, went on dates, asked to be girlfriend and so on and so forth. But yeah, I do think we did the modern way.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Time for part two of the game.
Mm.
Okay. This is this or that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And no thinking again. I just want you to tell me what you think. Okay. Online dating or meeting in person?
Online dating for me. I know many
Ah.
people would pick meeting in person, but for me, it just works out better when I get to talk to you, text you, just feel you out. Okay.
Okay. DM first or approach in real life?
Approach in real life. It depends. It depends. Let me just say,
Yeah.
if it's somebody that I already know in person, just approach me in person. Don't try to do it online.
Okay.
If we don't know each other, your DM first.
Okay. Text all day or one meaningful conversation?
Text all day, one single meaningful conversation, and that's it. Mm.
Okay. In person first date or FaceTime date?
In person first date.
I think we did a FaceTime date.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a date. We did
Uh,
FaceTime before we went on an actual date,
to hear
but
each other out, how we sound,
all right,
and
yes. So I
yeah,
would guess. I guess I would say FaceTime first, so we can actually see that this person is this person.
yeah.
Then yeah,
Okay, private relationship or public on social media?
I would say private, but not a secret, which just simply means that people would know that you are in a relationship, but it doesn't. It wouldn't be all the way out there. Every single thing wouldn't be out there.
Okay. Post your partner or keep it low key? You kind of answered that.
Yeah, post your partner.
Okay,
Like, come on.
here we go. Ghosting or honest awkwardness?
Honest awkwardness, please.
Really?
Yes, don't ghost me. What?
Ah, you wanted to ghost me. Okay, last but not least, love at first sight or love grows over time?
Love grows over time.
You never loved me first time?
No,
I saw you, I fell in love.
love grows over time. I'm not saying love at first sight is not a thing and it's not real, but for me, it's love grows over time. I'm not a love at first sight type of girly. No.
Okay. I thank you very much. Thank you to my lovely wife for joining me today on the Lusanjis Speaks. That is a wrap from us today, and we want to hear from you, okay? Are you team online? Are you team in person? Or are you team 6-7? Are you team mixed in between? Let us know in the comments below which is your opinion, and we would love to hear from you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, what I would also say, if you have any topics that you would like us to discuss, any hot topics at all that you would like us to discuss, you can leave it in the comments below, and who knows, it might just be our next video. So, with that being said, thanks for hanging with us today, and remember, love today can be more complex, but also more exciting. So, stay genuine, stay bold, and catch us next time on the Lusanjis Speaks.